This is the Time Is Now podcast, presented by IRG.
Welcome to the Time Is Now podcast, hosted by your team at IRG. I am your host, Justin Villa, and I think it's been a very long time. We've missed you guys, but it's season 3.
Yes,
it is season 3. And obviously I have some team members here from the IRG team. I have the broker, the boss, Giovanna Guzman, and I have Jangis Bayerli here with me. And might as well start season 3 with one of my favorite new projects. I think this project, location-wise, brand, everything it has to offer is definitely unique. And for a unique project, we have a very special guest. We have Nicole Cardona, sales executive of the project. Thank you so much for giving us your time and having us here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Well, welcome. Let's dive into one of our new favorite projects. I think I can speak for the IRG team. It's something that is so unique, so special, location-wise, brand. You have the backing of John George. It's something that we really haven't seen here in the Miami market before. So, I mean, Nicole, give us a little bit of let's start with the area, right? Let's talk about what the area has to offer, where we are exactly, and then we'll dive deep into the project itself.
Yeah, so essentially, I mean, this area is practically home to me because I've been living here for the last 6 years. So there's nobody that understands, you know, the flow of Midtown design, Wynwood area more than myself. I've lived the 4 years of Basel. I've lived Winter Music Conference. I've lived, you know, the concourse event that Design District, you know, has once a year. I've lived all of it here, and definitely from the area and where the building is located, it's very unique, and it's an opportunity because it's something that hasn't been developed in a really, really long time, maybe 10 or plus years. And so it's something that really comes to the heart and that you really want to, you know, pass on to your brokers and pass on to your clients to make them understand that exact same feeling that you have on a daily basis of, you know, just easy living, which is what I think we're all trying to, you know, have nowadays in Miami. And it's such a, you know, on-growing city. So Miami in itself has Brickell that every time you turn a corner, it's a new building. Downtown the same, and the city has evolutionized to, you know, another, you know, point right now because we're the center of it all. I mean, before we used to be, but yeah. I think that now we have, and everybody wants to be in Miami. And it's not only in the aspect of real estate, but because you also have a great lifestyle. Oops, that was a coffee. You have the lifestyle long term, and then also families have the opportunity of growing here to, you know, the not characteristics, but to the level that they would expect in another city, like a New York or a Boston or something like that. So
yeah.
Exactly, as you were saying, like there's so many events happening, and for example, this weekend there's going to be Ultra.
Yeah.
Last year, 160,000 people came. And it's like everything is like full and it's like so lively and everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were at the event yesterday, and it started like it was a kickoff party for Music Week.
Exactly.
And just
the Ocean Drive.
Yeah, the Ocean Drive event. And I mean, it's just it's nonstop. Like Miami just doesn't sleep. Like we have events, new sports, everything is here, and it's always like it's literally year round. There's something always to do.
Well, one of the things, then going back to the location, I think it's important to mention as well that one of my favorite things about this particular location is the walkability that you have for everything, because we have the great shops of the Miami Design District, then you have all these great restaurants around us.
Absolutely. So that's one of the biggest things that you have in this area. This is really the new Miami, just because it's the center of it all. Right. And any time that you want to travel somewhere and you want to stay around, you know, the brands, right? That's what you always focus on and look towards to. And here it's the first time that you have that opportunity to live from a walking distance of a block away of, you know, the best brands worldwide, the best restaurants, because these are restaurants that have 2-star Michelin chefs, or they're very well known, and they're a place where all the tourists, where everybody that's coming to Miami wants to be a part of. And so apart from having that, you also have the convenience as an owner. If you want to live here and also, you know, live that healthy lifestyle, you have all of your Pilates studios around you. You have all of the gyms. You have like 6 gyms in Midtown that are including Anatomy, which is a signature Miami gym as well. And then you also have the Brightline Station, which is coming on 39th. So everything is so close and everything is walking distance that there really isn't anything that can compete with the proximity and the easy living of just being in this area. You don't even need a car here. And for anybody that's coming to live here, as well as parents with kids, you have grade A schools here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
You
Yeah,
have
they keep
Kushner,
opening new schools
exactly.
also. Yeah.
You have Miami Country Day, and your neighbors are, all these beautiful single family homes that are here starting the 3 million plus average price, starting price, right?
Exactly.
So I think as neighbors, it's phenomenal. The building and the characteristics of the building are, amazing, because they're those projects that don't ever have a comparable. They don't go within the niche of volume. They go between the niche of, they're great because they're big floor plans. They're great because they have high ceilings. They're great because it has A1 service. They're great because it's not like a hotel. It's very private. It's very boutique. It's a very elevated and sophisticated lifestyle. So there's a lot of things that go hand in hand. And I think that, one of those things is also that David can bring that to life is he's always been known for doing developments like this. And it's not a developer that's starting, right?
Yeah.
David is a titan. David is a maverick. He's been doing this for years, and he always transforms areas. And with the building, apart from having the Jean George component included, which you're going to have, your ABC Trilogy restaurant, which is 10,000 square feet, and having the private restaurant, you're also going to have the well embedded in the building. So you also have that component of health and wellness. And nowadays, that's everything.
It's a must.
It's a must. That's the complete lifestyle of wellness, and actually wealth in itself is longevity. So having that within the building, in the area, proximity to all of these locations, which are the best in Miami, it really just seems like it's just a must to have in the space.
And can we just talk about a little bit about John George? I'm sure most people in the world knows about him. He's the most famous Michelin star, of course, chef in the world. But maybe you can give something like a summary about him, like how many restaurants he has and everything.
Yeah, so Jean George in itself, I would have thought would have been something that everybody would have known about. But Jean George is the king of the culinary experience. So we have very well-known brands in Miami, and the majority of them have gone through JG's school. So he has been in this business since 1982. He has more than 60 restaurants around the world. The next 2 years, he should have at least 23 more in South America, which is a big, big plus because, the majority of his focus of restaurants are all in New York. He has Jojo, he has Nougatine, he has Jean George, he has 425, which are known for his 2 and 3 star Michelin signature restaurants. Now he has a members club that we're also bringing down from New York. So that's one of the things that we're really emphasizing on is having everybody from Miami that has not been in New York, because Miami is 80% Latins,
Exactly.
and then 20% now Americans that they love the beach. And so having them come down and have all of LATAM experience the exact same thing, and the level of sophistication and the quality of product is what we want to do. So we're bringing down JG, and we're bringing down Chez Margot, which is one of his private members club, here to Miami. And just in itself, once you hear John George, he's very focused on everything that's farm to table, from his ABC Cucina to his most elevated restaurants. And that's really something that we're going to emphasize in the building, because apart from the restaurants, he's taking care of all the food and beverage, and that's going hand in hand with growing specific type of vegetables and things like that in the botanical garden we will have in the building.
Which is super unique.
It's super
You
unique.
cannot find that anywhere.
Anywhere.
I mean, I'm not going to even say Miami. I think nationwide. Tell me
Exactly.
another project.
Never
that
heard
have
something
that.
like
Exactly.
A
We
luxury
kind of-
project.
If you guys think about it, it's kind of like that saying that goes, it starts from within. So we kind of want to control that quality of product from the inside of the building, even if it's something as minimal as that. But it's so unique because nobody else has it.
Right.
So in itself, it's a very, very unique product in the area. It's something that we have kept under wraps for a really long time, because we've been, trying to keep all the best details, till the moment that we do launch. So I think it's an opportunity for anybody that wants a new type of lifestyle, specifically here that there's only single family homes. This is the only high-end building in the area. And so it's an opportunity, because at the same time, you do have, that chance of, making that unit yours. If you want to combine any type of unit, you're in that space of the building and you're still in that time frame. So working hand in hand with the developer, something that clients always like to do if they have the opportunity. And David has always been very focused on being able to execute what he, gives you from the beginning till the end. And I think that that's something also very important, apart from having obviously Jean-Georges, having the team behind it with Jakob Puschelberg as well, as the interior designers is fantastic.
Actually, you have a great point there, and I was going to make a comment on it even before you bring it up. Just because we always tell all the buyers and even our agents, you need to know your developer, because that's the only thing that can guarantee that the project is really going to be delivered. There's amazing today. There's so many projects out there. There's so many. Everything is very unique. Everything's different. But reality is not all can be delivered. And that's one of the things that you have to understand, know your developer. Here in Miami Tropic, I think, it's one of our favorites, and Nicole is one of our favorites. We always hear. But there's a reason why, not only because, of course, Jean-Georges and we are foodies, we love food and we love to eat. So we've been to all his restaurants and all that. So that's one of the things. But also, like, we talk about the location and, and everything that this project in particular has to offer. But the developer is a key, because that's the only way that you can guarantee that project is going to be delivered. They're going to promise, and then you're going to see that they deliver what they promised.
Exactly.
Because then you see that a lot. Then at the end result is like, what is this? It looks horrible. This is what I bought.
Cheap, yeah.
And then it's already been 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, and it's like too late to go back.
Exactly.
But this is something that it's important to have.
The developer is definitely in Miami nowadays. Everybody wants to develop. Everybody wants to develop. It's crazy.
Yeah, we know.
In today's world, yeah.
And in today's market, the majority of the developers, I think, focus on quantity versus quality.
Yeah.
Yep.
And trying to get it out quick and as fast as
Exactly.
possible.
Making profits on the
Exactly. And here, David has a very tight team. He does everything in-house, which I think is also very great, because there's a lot of control from the sales side to the marketing side, to the planning side, to the interior designers, as I said, where we all have hands and say, this works, this doesn't work. It's not, the typical plan where, this is what you have, and then we'll see what we're gonna get at the end of the process of the sale of the building. And so that's one of the things that I tell the people the most is, one of the biggest and most important features of a building is the developer behind it, always. And I think that's one of the things that we stand by next to David, because all of the buildings that he's done are always iconic buildings. He was and is practically the king of Coconut Grove, because all of the buildings that are there are his. Mr. C, Park Grove, now the Well, and then him obviously expanding to Edgewater, Bay Harbor, and so forth. You have great opportunities with him, and I think that this building is one of them, because he's usually developing products that start at $3-4 million, and here you're at $1 million next to design, which is to me the best location that there can be.
Which is crazy.
Exactly, it's a great opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah.
Apart from these units, let's say something so basic that you would compare to another developer, think of the finishes, the height ceilings. We have 10-foot ceilings, 11-foot ceilings. Penthouses have 12-foot ceilings. So it's like you have a lot of characteristics, and the fact that, let's say, also the units have private elevators, that's huge. You usually don't find these types of details within a building, specifically in the Miami. Because if you're doing in Miami Beach, yes, you're paying $3,000, $4,000 a foot, understood. Yeah. But here, you're starting at $1,100 a foot, and you're getting characteristics that are for units that pay $2,000 a foot. So
yeah, you're not giving up luxury.
We're not. We're not cutting corners at all.
Exactly, and the amenities that you guys are giving is unbelievable.
Amazing.
Compared to any project.
But tell us a little bit about the amenities that you have.
So we have 60,000 square feet of amenities. You have obviously the best part of the building, which to me, I'm a foodie too, so it's the restaurants. You have 10,000 square feet of the ABC kitchen, so you'll have ABCV, ABC Cucina, and ABC Kitchen. And then you're gonna have a private restaurant for the owners on the 8th floor level. So you have the 5th floor, which is a multi-function floor, actually, sorry. You have all the conference spaces, co-working, entertainment, you have your breakfast area, you have a beautiful courtyard, which is the center of the building. That's kind of like your feng shui space. So the design is very unique. Jakob Puschelberg did a tremendous design, and for people that don't know them, they have done the St. Regis Bell Harbor, they did the SLS Lux, they did Amman Residences in Tokyo, which is my favorite, and they did Apogee Edition. So they've done iconic buildings that wherever you go, you feel kind of that energy of when you're going to these spaces, like, wow, it's amazing. Then you have on your 7th floor, the Well, which is going to be now your spa. We're expanding. Currently, we're at 5,000. We're expanding to 7,500 square feet.
Nice.
And then you have your fitness level, which is also always going to be with attendance, and you have your reception there, which is phenomenal. You're going to have a squash court, and then you have your 8th floor level, which is your main amenity deck. You have your main pool, jacuzzi. You have 4 game rooms for kids, so the building is really prepared for families as well. Formula One simulators, restaurant for JG there, and then for adults, we are doing the exclusive 49th floor, which is the Sunset Lounge. You have a 72-foot pool, which is beautiful. And then you also have your library and private dining that you can always, have a chef from ABC come up and host, which I think is very exclusive nowadays to have that type of service.
Of course.
Yeah, and to have that ability as well.
Also, I mean, these units, the designs and the finishes and the materials that we're using, it's very unique, and you see color.
Yes.
You see
A lot of
color,
color.
which is very unique, within the pink and the green, and which is we haven't seen before, and then this type of luxury.
Yeah.
So talk us a little bit.
So
Tell us a little bit about
when it's so funny because when David mentioned to us, the building is going to be called John George Miami Tropic, I was like, Tropic? I don't know how I feel about that. But then now selling it within the period of time that we've been here, 6 months, coming in and just talking about the building in itself for that amount of time, because we haven't really gone out with it, you emphasize and you start understanding where it comes from. And there's a lot of vegetation that we incorporated into the building. And so you have this beautiful botanical garden that's 3 stories high. It's on 3 floors. Each floor has around 25 feet of height. So it's a beautiful garden that's going to be within the building. So you don't even have to leave the building. So that's one of the things that we wanted to emphasize on as well, was have everything in a building where you don't have to leave, even if you're in a great location. But back to the design anyways. You have vegetation throughout. The colors are as bold as you can think. So you have, this beautiful pedestrian lobby that's green in every corner. You have this pebbled ceiling mirror, which gives you, that infinite feeling of water. Then on your lobby, you have this dusty pink with white, feng shui, kind of like Japanese style, which is beautiful. Yes. And then on the 5th floor level, which is a multi-function room, you have this amazing courtyard, which is the center of the amenities of the building. And all of these are always, facing east. So apart from that, you have a phenomenal view. And the units are very detail-oriented because the units have dark blue kitchens, which we call moody blues. And you also have your dawn scheme of kitchens, which is kind of like an orange, red, bronze, like copper type of color. And then the textures that they brought within were, limestone flooring. You have unpolished granite as countertops. You have quartz. You have obviously Sub-Zero appliances. But they really wanted to bring the outside texture into the building. And I think that we were really able to do that within the design of the units, the bathrooms, even the amenity spaces, and something so simple as, walking through a door, you feel like you're going into somewhere totally different and you're not in Miami. Which is really a feeling of uniqueness, which is what we were really trying to go for.
Yeah, I think with all these new constructions, we kind of fell into a norm, right? Like a lot of these buildings had very similar color schemes, and the kitchens were slightly different, but yeah, I mean the colors kind of stayed the same in almost most of these buildings. So when we got here and we saw a lot of color, it was like, whoa. Yeah. It's a little bit of a shock, but I think it works. And
it blends perfectly inside the project.
Yeah. And being in this location, it's the only location where you truly can mix and match with colors, right? You're in design district.
And you still feel like it's an elevated design. It's not like I'm giving you colors that you feel like, oh no, it's, might not look so high end. The texture, the combination of textures and colors that they did within the building are a combination that I have never seen before, and I've been in pre-construction for 10 years. Usually everybody goes for the safe neutral, and I think that bringing that to life to everybody was a shock, because nobody is used to these types of, designs in itself inside a building like this. And I think even when you guys came, you're just like, I would have never expected something like this here. I've had a lot of clients that they come and they would never expect that it's this level of sophistication, what we're executing in this space, which I think is very unique as well.
Amazing. Now, we're here in the design district, like right in the border, and knowing that this building is basically going to be the only one around us, we have amazing views.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that,
That's
because
the
what do we
biggest.
have around us?
I didn't talk about the views, but because I've seen them and they're so great. But the building in itself, we bought the air rights of the building, so we're elevated 600 feet versus everything else, which is around to like a 27th floor, and we're all the way to 49th. So the building has the best views you can imagine. You have on your north side design district, and then in the back all of that is historic single family homes. You can see up to Sunny Isles, you can see the Hard Rock Stadium, you can see Bay Harbor, you can see Bal Harbor, you can see Miami Beach, and then you also have this beautiful intercoastal view, which I think at night is phenomenal. It's very, very nice. And apart from that, all of your south views as well from Tobrickle downtown are phenomenal, because you have beautiful, also Coconut Grove is a view that you can see from the 30th floor and above. You have Key Biscayne, you have the sunset from the airport. Now the beauty from being here is that you don't have towers blocking you on the west side of the building.
Yeah.
You have a flat sunset view. If that's where, that's where our one bedrooms are located. If you still have that, it's a phenomenal location of the building. And regardless, it's not like you're seeing concrete, you see green, because all of this area is residential. And so it's very nice, because in Miami, the majority of people that are used to seeing and, getting units like this or in buildings like this, they're surrounded by concrete. Here you have that option, you have that view of having green, having blue, having colors, a different type of color scheme, which I think is very unique, specifically for an area like this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Nicole, thank you so much for your time and lending us this space. I think it's definitely been an eye-opener for the agents that are listening, the clients. This project, like we keep saying, it is special, it is unique. So definitely one that you have to come over here and check out for yourself.
Yeah.
But remember, keep an eye out for all our social medias, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, anywhere where you think you could find us, you probably could.
Yeah.
But thank you so much again, Nicole, for your time.
Thank you guys for
Nicole.
coming.
It was
love
fun
having
to
you
have
guys
you
here.
today. Definitely, it was very fun, and we're looking forward to do this again.
Please.
And and everybody who's listening, this is a Time Is Now podcast, so you can follow us. And remember,
The time is now.
This is the Time Is Now podcast, presented by IRG.